Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today's video will be covering the most anticipated follow-up film of one of Marvel's most famous superheroes, which is that of Spider-Man. Specifically, Spider-Man Brand New Day, with Tom Holland once again donning the mask as the titular character, as this trailer gives us a taste at what the webhead has been up to since his final swing at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. Yesterday, Tom Holland posted on Instagram that in the lead up to the release of the trailer, that Spider-Man fans from across the world would be posting clips from the trailer in the lead up to its release. Now that the trailer is officially out, let's get into it and break it all down. First and foremost, what I liked about this trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day is that there are shots throughout the trailer that are paying homage to other Spider-Man material / iconography. Immediately, the opening shot we get in the trailer shows Peter on his phone while he is upside down. This reminded me a whole lot of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse when Gwen goes to Miles' Earth to visit him and they both sit upside down as well, which creates this very beautiful image of the city upside down with them facing up. Towards the closing minutes of the trailer, we see 3 homages to different Spider-Man comic book covers, one of which is Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, Issue 345. This depicts Spider-Man fighting against Boomerang. Following this is another homage to Amazing Spider-Man Issue 134, which shows off Spider-Man fighting off against Tarantula, and it really has been adapted perfectly down to the minute detail of the cop raising his gun. Lastly, one of the most iconic poses / imagery of Spider-Man that we see in this trailer is from Amazing Fantasy issue 15, which is the first appearance and origin of the character, written by Stan Lee and with art done by Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby. Although it was to no one's surprise, Zendaya and Jacob Batalon will return as their respective characters of MJ and Ned Leeds, it seems as though Peter Parker will sort of be stalking them from afar via social media, and as they are more closer to him when they are in New York, he will try to ease his way back into their lives while also trying to not raise suspicion about who he is. In No Way Home, Peter having to silently let go of Ned and MJ and not reveal to them that he is Spider-Man is one of those melancholy endings that will forever stick with the character as well as with audiences. Seeing how Peter has to deal with that for so many years after the events of No Way Home, leading us now to the events of this film, is certainly going to be interesting, especially now that MJ has a new boyfriend, which is confirmed in this trailer. The actor playing the boyfriend is Iman Esfandi. For those who may or may not know, he played the live-action version of Ezra Bridger on the Ahsoka series. In addition, it seems as though MJ may be obsessed with Spider-Man because we see her watching Spider-Man on the TV, a brief moment between the two of them, as well as the little comedic scene towards the end of the trailer where she calls Peter a friendly neighbor. You can see behind Peter that there are photos of Spider-Man on the wall. Potentially MJ could be keeping up with Spider-Man because she remembers him to a degree, but due to Doctor Strange's spell in No Way Home, it has made her forget that it is Peter Parker under the mask, leading to this wild obsession. Whatever the case is, I hope Peter doesn't immediately get back together with Ned and MJ, which resolves the spell from No Way Home and makes them instantly remember him. I want to see this push and pull that Peter is going to go through in this new series of Spider-Man films. What I also like about this trailer is we see other characters and story beats from both the TV and movie side of the MCU being brought into the fold. One of the first appearances we get in the early minutes of this trailer is John Bernthal's Punisher as he rams Spider-Man with his van while the two of them have a dispute, with Peter being able to stop Frank from doing any harm. I wasn't expecting John Bernthal's Punisher to appear this early in the film's marketing, but it was so welcome. And seeing these two street-level heroes who are of different mindsets is certainly going to be interesting. More so now that this installment seems to be leaning into the street-level / friendly neighborhood elements associated to Spider-Man. Spider-Man calling Punisher Frank makes me think that these two have encountered one another prior to the events of this film, which is why there is some history between both of them. It feels like a fever dream seeing John Bernthal's Punisher be the second Netflix Marvel character being integrated into a theatrical MCU film, especially with Spider-Man. This also feels like it's going to be a Punisher heavy year, the character returning in Daredevil Born Again Season 1, to him having his own Disney Plus special, akin to something like Werewolf by Night, but with more action-heavy elements, and now with the character showing up in Spider-Man Brand New Day. What a journey for John Bernthal's Punisher since he first showed up as the character in Daredevil Season 2, up until now being a part of a theatrical Spider-Man film. Charlie Cox reprised his role as Matt Murdock for a brief scene during Spider-Man No Way Home, and Kingpin made his debut / re-entry into the MCU, which was this slow but sure transition into making the Netflix side of Marvel characters now being a part of the main MCU canon, especially now with Daredevil Born Again Season 2 bringing in characters like Brett Mahoney and one of the Defenders, which is that of Christian Ritter reprising her role as Jessica Jones, as they are a part of Daredevil's army in bringing down Mayor Fisk, as well as the speculated return of Luke Cage and Danny Rand Iron Fist. Speaking of which, during the broadcast we see of Spider-Man being handed over the key to the city, the person gifting him that key is none other than actress Sabrina Guevara, who plays the character of Sheila Rivera in Daredevil Born Again Season 1. She is Wilson Fisk's assistant and political advisor during that show. So seeing her be the one to gift Spider-Man the key to the city may likely spoil Daredevil Born Again Season 2, as this may be a clear indicator that Kingpin will be getting dethroned from his mayoral position, which leads to Sheila Rivera taking over. Then again, this isn't at all that surprising, as showrunner for Born Again Seasons 1 and 2, Dario Scardapane, recently confirmed that this second season of Born Again will conclude Kingpin's story as mayor of New York. Funnily enough, in Daredevil Born Again Season 1, when Wilson Fisk makes his speech about targeting and outlawing vigilantes, he mentions Spider-Man during that speech.
We know how to take care of ourselves. We don't need a gun-toting vigilante who wears a skull on his chest, or a man who dresses in a spider outfit.
We also see in this trailer that one of the OG Avengers will be showing up, which is that of Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner / Hulk. We see that he is someone Peter goes to consult as he's trying to get a better grasp of understanding this new transition that he's undergoing and what new abilities and transformations might come out of it. Who else could you ask about scientific questions about DNA and mutation other than Dr. Banner, who's teaching at ESU from the looks of things, as Peter is wearing that university's hoodie. Funnily enough, we see that Bruce has the inhibitor device on his right hand, which we first saw in the post-credit scene for Shang-Chi, as well as in the She-Hulk show. This helped Banner maintain his human form, and we see here in this trailer that he is still wearing this device, probably as a way for him to leave behind his Hulk form. However, myself and fans are willing to bet top dollar that in this film, due to some circumstances that take place during the course of this film, it will result in Bruce Banner making himself vulnerable, leading him to transform back into the Hulk. Not Smart Hulk, but proper rage-filled savage Hulk, like in the early days of the Infinity Saga. This could likely result in Punisher and Spider-Man having to reluctantly team up and fight off against the Hulk. Also, Twitter account /scooper James Mack has also tweeted about how Bruce Banner / Hulk was initially supposed to appear in the upcoming Avengers films of Doomsday and Secret Wars. However, due to the narrative reasons of Brand New Day, this will put him on the bench, which is why the character won't show up in Doomsday, but will appear in Secret Wars. Even though there is leaked concept art for Secret Wars, which does show off the character of Hulk in Battle World, things can change, and even the concept art we saw for Secret Wars may not end up in the final cut of the film. And if you really want to know every nitty-gritty detail in the lead up to Doomsday and even Spider-Man Brand New Day, if you're willing to be spoiled on those things, James Mack is an account I highly recommend, because all of the details he's been tweeting about for both these movies have been nothing but legit. So he is a definite trustworthy source. One of the brief appearances we get in this trailer pays off a long-awaited post-credits scene that is finally being touched upon in this film, which is that of Michael Mando as Gargin, who first appeared in Spider-Man Homecoming and showed up in the post-credits scene of that film, teasing that he would get out and get revenge on Spider-Man. We see that this has come to fruition with the added addition of Gargin in an early Scorpion costume, complete with the tail. There was leaked concept art for the character showing the tail to have a different chain-like design, whereas this trailer shows us a traditional Scorpion stinger design. Even though he is not present in this trailer, Marvin Jones III is going to be playing Tombstone in this film, and the aforementioned villains during the final minutes of this trailer being that of Tarantula and Boomerang. We also get a voiceover from what sounds like actor/voice actor Keith David, who does the narration of this trailer, who is also talking about the evolution of spiders. This may be a long shot theory and quite a stretch, but I think Keith David could be providing the voice of Tombstone while Marvin Jones III plays the physicality and the actual persona of the character. The one example I can think of is Solo: A Star Wars Story, where towards the end of the film, when you get the reveal of Darth Maul on the hologram, it is played by actor and martial artist Ray Park, who physically portrayed the character of Darth Maul in that scene, with Sam Witwer, who's also an actor as well as a voice actor who's voiced the character of Darth Maul in animation, who voiced the character in live action for that film. Then again, this could be a stretch, but I am 1000% sure the voice we hear in this trailer is Keith David. A little bit of lore/trivia is that Keith David did initially voice the character of Tombstone on Spectacular Spider-Man, but then it changed and it went to Kevin Michael Richardson instead. Maybe Keith David is playing some other well-known scientist/teacher in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Maybe someone like Kirk Connors the Lizard, or Dr. Miles Warren the Jackal, or maybe just a new original character entirely. However, one of the mystery characters we see very little of in this trailer, but the actress is confirmed to be in this film, is Sadie Sink. There has been a lot of speculation and mystery surrounding her character. There are two shots that may actually be hinting at her character, as when she was spotted on set for the filming of Spider-Man Brand New Day, though she was heavily covered, she was spotted wearing a white hoodie, which is eerily similar, if not exactly what this mysterious figure is wearing in this trailer. Some kind of green jacket with a white hoodie. A lot of people have theorized that she's going to be playing Jean Grey, although it has not yet been confirmed, and whether or not the marketing for this film will even show or reveal her character in the lead up to it remains to be seen. Why I do potentially see this maybe panning out is because from a lot of scoopers and even the behind the scenes filming for Spider-Man Brand New Day last year, that there has been a lot of talk of the DODC showing up in this film in some form or fashion. The DODC, who are known as the Department of Damage Control, who went after enhanced individuals like Miss Marvel and Simon Williams' Wonder Man. We do briefly see Tramell Tillman in this trailer, and in the closed captions, his character is simply named Bill. This could be an existing Marvel character or an original character for this film, but I think he could be a part of the DODC trying to go after this mysterious individual who is showing to be a threat they can't contain. We see that he's talking to Spider-Man, as you can identify the back of his head. We even see a shot of Spider-Man scanned by this machine that's not only able to detect that he's an enhanced individual, it also can detect Spider-Man's other abilities as well. We also see what appears to be this makeshift cell for this mysterious person who is clearly cuffed to the chair, with the whole idea of mutation and Peter undergoing this change. Could Brand New Day start planting the seeds and set up for an early start to detecting and uncovering mutants? Though mutants are born with their powers, which are initially dormant for a while until they are activated as they get older, which can lead to either biological or physiological changes, whereas Spider-Man is considered a mutate. A mutate in the Marvel Universe is someone who acquired their powers from external exposure, like Peter being bit by the radioactive spider, which led him to gaining his abilities. We also see what might appear to be some sort of telekinetic mind control / soul possession kind of deal going on, because when Spider-Man goes to examine the crash tank and finds an old lady inside, she looks like she's being freed from whatever possessed her. It then hops onto a body of what I thought was initially a SWAT officer, but it's actually a DODC agent. As you can see, the tag has the letter D and C on it, which could only mean DODC. And then from that DODC agent, it hops onto another agent from above as well. So maybe this could potentially be Jean Grey using her abilities to help, perhaps, and this film could be using the DODC and Sadie Sink as Jean Grey in this film to lay the foundation of different people going after mutants as the MCU gears up towards introducing the X-Men. I personally don't believe this to be true, because there's been so many other obscure random characters that she's also been theorized / speculated to be from the Spider-Man cast of characters, as well as just every other character as well. So that's why I'm not putting all my eggs in the basket for this Jean Grey theory just yet. This could be a hot take. I'm personally not a fan of Sadie Sink's casting as Jean Grey. If there was anyone from Stranger Things cast who could play Jean Grey, maybe it's too obvious of an answer, but I prefer Natalie Dyer, as her character of Nancy from Stranger Things feels like the kind of energy I would want in Jean Grey. And I personally buy into her being Jean Grey more than Sadie Sink. Then again, Sadie Sink being Jean Grey is all speculation. Whether it's true or not remains to be seen. And also, if they are to introduce Jean Grey, I would want Jean Grey to be introduced in Marvel Studios' X-Men film, where they can really focus and flesh out the first class of mutants, being Cyclops, Iceman, Angel, Beast, and Jean Grey. Before closing out on this trailer breakdown, we see Peter going through some sort of change as he is reborn in some way, as he awakens from inside a web cocoon and starts to tear out from it. We also see him in what appears to be inside of his apartment, where there is all sorts of webbing as well. We even get this eerie shot for the closing minutes of the trailer as he opens his eyes and they are completely dark. Some fans believe that we may see some form of man spider, which is a mutated form of Spider-Man that has 6 arms and looks like a monstrous spider. I would actually be surprised if they do actually go there in this film, considering we are seeing how this new evolution for Peter is giving him things like organic webbing and maybe even heightening and sharpening his spider senses as well. Lastly, what took me by surprise was seeing Red Ninjas going after Spider-Man. During the first round of shooting in Glasgow for Spider-Man Brand New Day, where Spider-Man was going after this tank, it had a demon logo on it, and people immediately thought that this was Mr. Negative's crime organization logo known as the Demon Gang. However, considering this is Destin Daniel Cretton, I wouldn't be surprised if this was potentially Shang-Chi's sister, Jia Ying, since she's now running the 10 Rings after the events of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So her inclusion in this film wouldn't be entirely out of the realm of possibility. A lot of fans, and myself included, believe that this red-colored ninja clan is the Hand from Marvel Comics, who serve dark malevolent power known as the Beast. The Ninja Clan also appeared during season 1 and 2 of Daredevil. This is just insane, to be honest. Seeing Spider-Man going toe-to-toe with hand ninjas, it looks wild. And I'm also willing to wager that the red demon symbol on the tank could probably belong to the Hand as well. All I'm saying is, if Spider-Man is throwing hands with the Hand themselves and Daredevil isn't there, then I'm going to riot. I'm praying that Spider-Man and Daredevil team up in the theatrical space, with Matt Murdock's cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home, with Punisher's involvement in this film, and now the Hand seemingly being brought into this film. It feels as though Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, and Destin Daniel Cretton are purposely playing around Daredevil's orbit. Overall, Spider-Man Brand New Day promises to be a fresh start for Tom Holland's portrayal of the webslinger. It's bringing in characters and story beats, both old and new, to tell a fresh, new street-level story with some other elements peppered in there. It looks to not only show promise, but that bold swings are being taken in this installment. The visuals, color grading, VFX, and cinematography help hone in on this film being fresh, as people have not been a fan of the filmmaking of MCU Spider-Man's trilogy, as well as the other aspects of that take on the character, which I'm not too big on, but to each their own. This trailer feels like it's fulfilling those wants and needs of the fans that feels genuine and not done for the sake of it. Big props to Destin Daniel Cretton and his team, as everything in this trailer looks amazing, from the action set pieces we are getting to the glimpses of the mundane everyday life of Peter Parker. It's all on display, and it looks to be done with sincere love and care. 2026 feels like a massive year for Marvel Studios on all fronts, from TV being that of the Wonder Man series, Daredevil Born Again Season 2 on the horizon, and the Punisher special. In terms of animation, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2 and X-Men 97 Season 2 are slated to release later this year. On the theatrical side of things, we have Spider-Man Brand New Day releasing this summer and Avengers Doomsday releasing this December. Undeniably, two of Marvel Studios' biggest money-making properties in their cinematic universe. It seems as though Marvel has taken into account the fan reception to their prior output over this past saga and re-evaluated their upcoming projects to ensure that they are of the quality fans remembered and is reminiscent of what we know and love from the MCU, while also showing they are willing to take new and creative risks as well, which Spider-Man Brand New Day clearly seems to show. That concludes this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, as it shows your support. What are your thoughts and theories on Spider-Man Brand New Day from this trailer? Leave them all in the comment section below. Till then, take care and see you all on the next video.